Millions of Americans are now on high alert, and for good reason. The Trump administration is continuing this potential attack on Venezuela, trying to oust Nicolas Maduro. But according to President Trump's former national security advisor, she says that the United States should be prepared for a retaliation. I'll explain more in just a moment, but look at this. It says, violent retaliation against U.S. citizens possible in Venezuela conflict. She says, we don't know all of what has come into the country during the Biden administration. As a result, in the Trump administration, multiple officials have said this exact same thing, and previously some Biden officials said the same thing as well, that we don't know where the threats are coming from. We don't know. And over the past several weeks, we've seen multiple different threats, some of which were actually carried out, others that were thwarted before they ever got started, which is good. The problem is the American people are more concerned now than ever before. Now, I want to read a little bit of this article. It says right here, the Trump administration has been unleashing deadly strikes on the cartel's drug boats from Venezuela in the Caribbean for months. Now, the president is saying he will take the fight to Venezuela proper. In an interview with Fox News Digital, the former senior Trump national security advisor, Victoria Coates, said that though she believes the president has sweeping authority to carry out these operations, there is a possibility that cartels will attempt to retaliate by targeting U.S. citizens for terror activities. Now, here's what you need to keep in mind. It doesn't matter if President Trump has authority to conduct these strikes or not. If we are seeing these strikes are hurting the cartel business, then the cartel could actually use U.S. citizens as a way to get back at President Trump. I want to read you one last thing. It says, Coates, who serves as vice president of the Heritage Foundation, Catherine and Shelby Cullum Davis Institute for National Security and Foreign Policy, that's a big one, pointed to the deadly shooting by an Afghan national of two National Guard soldiers just blocks from the White House during Thanksgiving week. Now, I did a video on that, obviously discussed that, but the concern right now is things are only ramping up. And just today, okay, this is what we learned. Watch this. It says, in defiant flyover, U.S. F-18 fighter jets enter Venezuelan airspace for 40 minutes. Okay, you can see the route right here. I'll zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. There you go. This is the route that it took. Okay, the two fighter jets came in, okay, and they swooped around for about 40 minutes. It has been confirmed by the U.S. Navy. They did confirm that it was coming from, it was conducted from the USS Gerald R. Ford, okay, out of the Caribbean. That is what they said. Now, that doesn't sound like it is President Trump trying to de-escalate the situation. According to reports, what this may have done and what the Trump administration is trying to do is to get Venezuela to fire the first weapon. Okay? It could, whatever missile, whatever it may be, to fire that weapon first, because then that would give the United States the sweeping authority. There'd be no questions asked that yes, the United States could then retaliate against Venezuela. Now, we are not trying to go after the Venezuelan people. We're trying to oust Nicolas Maduro and his regime. That's it. I want to show you something. Look at this right here. It says, President Trump doesn't rule out troops in Venezuela. Says that President Nicolas Maduro's days are numbered. Says in a wide-ranging interview with Politico, Trump also said Russia has the upper hand in negotiations over its war with Ukraine and called European leaders weak. Okay. Now, here's what you need to keep in mind. The Trump administration has been using pressure to try to oust Nicolas Maduro for over a month now. It hasn't happened. According to reports early on, the Trump administration thought this would be a little bit easier than it currently is. Because if you put a lot of pressure on him and then the citizens are putting pressure on him, and then other countries are putting pressure on him, and then you got Russia, Iran, and China all stating that they are not going to help Venezuela at this time. That means they're on their own. They do not have the capability to withstand any pressure or an attack from the United States. Now, with that said, where do we go from here? Well, I want to show you something. It says, the Trump administration quietly builds plans for what would happen if Maduro were ousted in Venezuela. Now, what exactly are those plans? Well, I want to read something to you. It says the plans are being quietly drafted and closely held at the White House, the sources said. They include multiple options for what U.S. action could look like to fill the power vacuum and stabilize the country if Maduro voluntarily leaves as part of a negotiated departure or is forced into leaving the U.S. after U.S. strikes on targets inside Venezuela or other direct action. Now, according to a report just this morning, it was stating that Nicolas Maduro was negotiating with President Trump and that he would like to leave, but he's being forced to stay. Now, if he leaves, he's concerned for his life. He's concerned for the lives of his children, his wife, and some other high-level officials. And so what he has asked is he wants the United States to protect himself, his child, and his wife, as well as multiple high-level officials. And the Trump administration said no. We will protect you, your child, your wife. We'll make sure that you guys are protected and you get out of here. That's it. He said, okay, according to reports, that it was acceptable, but he wanted to choose who is going to take his place, which is essentially the vice president. And the White House said no, absolutely not. Okay, those are the reports that we got this morning. With that said, where does that take us? Well, here's the thing. The Trump administration is putting more and more pressure on Nicolas Maduro. According to reports, and again, we don't know for sure, but the United States Senate is going to vote to actually slow President Trump down, where he cannot do and plan these different attacks and go and try to oust Nicolas Maduro. That's according to reports. That vote is going to happen next week. So according to the same reports, there's a very high likelihood that President Trump is going to put so much pressure on Nicolas Maduro and Venezuela over the course of this week and into this weekend to ensure that he is gone before the Senate even votes, which chances are, even if the Senate voted, there would not be enough votes to pass any type of bill to stop President Trump. With that said, there's a good chance we see some type of escalation that will eventually resolve itself, but it could happen over the next 5 days. So we'll see what happens there. The one thing I want to leave you with, though, okay, the biggest thing and the whole purpose of this specific video is because we are being told to prepare for a retaliation. As of right now, it's not necessary for them to retaliate because all we've been doing is striking these boats. And again, even though I say all, that is taking lives of people. But that's it. We haven't been striking inside of Venezuela yet. According to reports, that is happening. That will be coming very soon. But when that does, according to the former White House or the National Security Advisor, she says the U.S. needs to prepare for retaliation. So I'll leave you with that. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.